Thanks for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger in for Alex. A development 7 times the size of Golden One Center could be coming to a rural community, and neighbors are not happy. We've been reporting on this so-called Project Frontier in El Dorado Hills. The developer's plans call for 2 massive distribution warehouses on some 200 acres next to the El Dorado Hills Business Park. Developers say this will bring jobs and money to the community, but neighbors say those don't outweigh their concerns.
How in the heck is this not going to, at certain times, create stop-and-go traffic?
At this packed meeting of the El Dorado Hills Area Planning Advisory Committee Wednesday night, one thing was clear.
My 2 concerns are noise pollution and diesel pollution.
Neighbors have major concerns and questions about Project Frontier. The proposed development would bring 2 distribution centers with a combined total square footage 7 times that of Golden One Center. So who's trying to come to town? The developer, Dermody Properties, a national logistics real estate firm, says the tenant is private, but an incorrect address left on the plan submitted to El Dorado County shows 2 identical-looking facilities in San Diego, and the tenant there is Amazon.
You got noise, you got pollution. We don't need this kind of facility with this magnitude in this area.
Bill Grava worries a project this big would make traffic congestion even worse. The developer says a transportation impact analysis report estimates the project would bring more than 5,000 additional car and truck trips per day.
El Dorado Hills Boulevard and Latrobe backs up at White Rock rush hours, morning and afternoon, almost a half mile. Compound that with this facility going up, possibly, and you've got some real problems.
The traffic concern is pretty valid. This project in specific proposes to have a lot of additional traffic on our main road, El Dorado Hills Boulevard, Latrobe Road, probably the busiest road by traffic in the county in an unincorporated area.
Also at the meeting, the developer shared the anticipated economic benefits of the project.
It's about $718 million in economic activity created in the county during that construction period. That generates about 5,300 job years. And on an ongoing basis, the project is anticipated to support 1,500 to 2,000 employees. We also estimate that the project will generate about 10.4 to 23.4 million in annual revenue to the county for funding various general fund services, including public safety.
Many neighbors told us they are alarmed by the size of the proposed project and what they think it could do to their views, their property value, and their quality of life.
My property value is ultimately tied into when I get to retire and what type of education I can provide grandchildren. And so it is that economic issue is a personal issue for all of us.
The land where the development is planned is currently the correct zoning for this project, but one of the proposed buildings is taller than what the county allows, so that exception would need to be approved. Now, the El Dorado County Board of Supervisors, it's the ultimate, well, let me back up here. The El Dorado County Planning and Building Department's zoning administrator will ultimately be the one to decide whether to approve a conditional use permit for the project. If approved, neighbors can appeal the decision to the County Board of Supervisors. Now, Governor Newsom started his State of the State tour today. He'd usually give a speech, but is instead announcing new policies at stops across California. The homelessness crisis was the focus today in Sacramento. Our Morgan Reiner was there for a few major announcements that even involved the National Guard.
Newsom toured 5 tiny homes on Thursday. One of the companies will win a contract with the state to provide 1,200 total homes to San Diego, Sacramento, San Jose, and Los Angeles.
We are looking to deploy the National Guard as well to help with the logistics and to help with some of the work in terms of installation of these products as well.
While the state is going to pay about $30 million for the homes, the cities and counties will have to cover the cost of operations once they have them.
The ability for the handoff to work is enhanced because of the $1 billion that we're providing the cities and counties as well. So that's money, that's flexible money, provides them the supports in addition to all their other budgets.
Funding that cities were only guaranteed once they submitted better plans to the governor. A few months ago, Newsom withheld funding from all cities across the state because their plans only predicted a 2% reduction in homelessness over the next 5 years. Today, Newsom announced that number jumped to 15%.
Remember, no money without a plan. Plans with numeric goals, real strategies, compelling relationships that need to be formed city and county and regionally.
Now, Sacramento is 6 months behind its own tiny home village, but the governor says he hopes they'll be ready to go in the next few months. And by the way, Cal Expo, where everyone met, is exactly where Mayor Steinberg plans to put those 350 tiny homes. Well, on a beautiful day like today, it's easy to see the damage recent storms left behind. It's a good opportunity for maintenance crews in Sacramento County to make repairs with a big focus on the roads.
Down trees. I haven't come across any power lines, but mainly the potholes. The vehicles are just tearing up the roads and you don't know how deep they are.
I'm driving down Watt to go to work and my car, little Mini, just goes everywhere.
Remember to call 311 if you encounter a pothole so it can get fixed. Help out your fellow drivers. And flooding left a hefty price tag of repairs at San Joaquin Delta College in Stockton to the tune of some $3 million. 11 offices and 4 classrooms were damaged there.
It is a reminder to us of the aging nature of some of our campus, and definitely we need to be looking at the long run in terms of how to upgrade these facilities.
He says insurance and scheduled maintenance funds will cover the damage costs. And here are some other stories people are talking about today. Downtown streets were full of closed roads and FBI activity this morning. A semi-truck cab was found parked on a ramp on federal property on 5th and I Streets. The FBI says officers asked the driver to move, but he refused. Police then stopped traffic on surrounding roads. The driver eventually got out of his cab around 9 this morning and was taken in by U.S. Marshals. 2 people are dead and 2 are hurt after a shooting in Modesto last night. This happened on Lassen Avenue west of Highway 99. There are no suspects as of now, and the shooting is being investigated as a homicide. And the Pentagon has released the video of a Russian jet colliding with an American drone earlier this week. The jet released fuel believed to be the intention of damaging the drone's surveillance equipment. That didn't work, so the jet collided with the drone to bring it down. U.S. officials say Russian ships are now on the site of the crash in the Black Sea trying to recover the drone. Okay, it is madness in March. March Madness tipped off today, and thousands of fans are flooding in for the weekend. After the break, a look at what you can expect. March Madness is officially here. Golden One Center has been packed with fans all day, and thousands of fans are expected to flood downtown this weekend, which of course also coincides with St. Patrick's Day celebrations. Devin Truby has a look at what you can expect.
The feeling outside Golden One Center electric as thousands of fans take photos and line up to get inside as March Madness tips off in the capital city. It's a welcome sight for businesses in downtown Sacramento.
It's a beautiful day here in downtown Sacramento. Obviously, we're thrilled as a region to welcome back the NCAA tournament.
Today is round 1 of the road to the Final Four. 4 games will be played today and 2 on Saturday.
Oh, well, I gotta love the weather right now because we're coming from Reno. It's been a tough winter.
Scott Ford with Downtown Sacramento Partnership says the big dance is a big opportunity for the city.
Sacramento on a national and international spotlight as far as being able to host this tournament.
And to make sure fans feel safe, Sacramento Police has extra officers on foot, bike, and horseback patrolling the area. They even have a specialty unit dedicated to being inside Golden One Center.
So while we understand that there was a police presence earlier in the city today, it's just to say it was a safety presence, right? And everything worked out safe in that incident.
Sergeant Zach Eaton is referring to an incident on I Street this morning, just blocks from the arena. Police say a man refused to move his truck, blocking the entrance to the federal courthouse. Several blocks around the courthouse were closed down while police worked to de-escalate the situation.
We've had some challenges with violence since the K Street shooting, right? It's no secret, but those events are outliers. And I think as you look at what's going on in Sacramento right now, you can tell.
And the fans we spoke to say they felt safe walking from their hotel.
I feel very safe. Yeah, everyone's so nice here. I want to take away that it's just a good environment. We have good people around here, and it's just basketball environment.
Okay, before you grab your green beer and shamrock beads for St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, take a second to learn about the history behind it. We're looking at the Irish influence after the break. Another beautiful day after relentless storms that caused all kinds of damage. And of course, Monica, with daylight saving time, we're getting more sunlight later into the evening. But how long is this beautiful weather going to last?
Just a couple more days, but nice to get at least a little drying. You're right about that. Sunset not until 7:14. So we'll continue to see those temperatures in the 50s through at least 10 p.m. if you're out and about, whether you're going to March Madness or you're just enjoying some of the dry weather. And as Becca just mentioned, sunset getting later and later. March 20th, the vernal equinox, our beginning of spring, 7:18. By May 1st, it's almost at 8 o'clock. And then for our summer solstice on June 21st, that sunset not until 8:34. Temperatures right now holding in the 60s in the valley, 50s for the foothills, and 30s for the Sierra with so much snow. Just a few snow flurries later, earlier this afternoon through tonight. We'll continue to track that south of Highway 50. A few isolated thunderstorms and again, some showers in the upper Sierra. Donner Summit, though, saw beautiful blue skies. This coming in from Mindy, sent into our ABC 10 weather force, and all that snow contributing to helping to chip away at our drought monitor. You can see we saw big improvements, especially throughout the central and southern Sierra, northern Sierra coming out of drought as well. Now, the extreme northern part of the state still in some portion of drought, and that's primarily because our reservoirs just haven't recovered as much from that 3 year of drought. Our temperature trend, well, we're hovering just below our average high of 66. We're going to jump above that for the next 2 days. Nice to see that just in time for St. Patrick's Day. We'll start the morning off at 40 degrees at 8 a.m. Mostly clear skies by noon, almost 60 with our high tomorrow at 67 with mostly sunny skies for our Friday and St. Patrick's Day heading into the weekend. We're tracking a few showers just off the coast here. Those actually don't really start to impact our weather until we get to Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That kind of opens up the storm door once again. Highs for tomorrow in the 40s for the Sierra, 50s for the lower Sierra and upper foothills, with highs in the lower foothills in the 60s. Along the coast, we're in the 60s after morning lows in the 40s. And as we travel inland, once again, a chilly start to the day with morning lows in the upper 30s to right around 40, but highs warm into the 60s for afternoon highs. 5-day forecast in the mountains. If you are headed up to enjoy some of that fresh powder, Saturday and Sunday, we have the chance for some snow showers. Monday and Tuesday, it's going to be much more active. That being true as well for the foothills. Beautiful green hills in the foothills right now and in the coast. We'll have those rain showers starting up on Sunday. We'll take that all the way through early next week, which again is the start of spring on Monday. So some spring showers ahead to start off the next work week, and we'll continue to see that through Friday.
Thank you, Monica. There's more to St. Patrick's Day than green beer, of course, and four-leaf clovers, especially in Sacramento. The Irish-American community played a major role in building the city we see today. John Bartel takes a historical look at the Irish influence.
St. Patrick's Day is by far the biggest day of the year that Sacramento highlights the Irish community. But if you look past the green beer, the four-leaf clover shirts, and the corned beef, you'll see evidence that the Irish community is all around the city.
When you hear all the trains going by right now, that's just perfect background music when you talk about the Irish, because they're all about the railroads and building these arteries that went through Sacramento and really connected Sacramento to the rest of the country.
Writer and historian Joe McNamara could show you dozens of examples of Irish-built landmarks in the city, but nothing compares to the Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament, a Catholic church built by Sacramento's most influential Irishmen.
This is a cathedral that Patrick Minogue built with all that money he made in the gold fields.
An immigrant of Kilkenny, Ireland, Patrick Minogue struck it rich during the gold rush and used his wealth to go to France and get ordained so he could come back to California and help his fellow Irishmen through the workings of the Catholic Church.
At his funeral, everyone came. Jew, Gentile, Protestant, you name it, and they were all unanimous that this was a great man that did a lot for Sacramento.
You'll find Patrick Minogue buried at St. Joseph Cemetery on 21st Street. It's also the final resting place of Joe McNamara's family.
My family's been in Sacramento since the late 1870s.
St. Joseph's is also the final resting place for many Irish who resettled in California.
The Irish would come out here, make a little bit of money, and then send for a brother or send for a sister. And so soon you would have families completed again.
When the Great Famine hit Ireland in 1845, many Irish immigrated to the U.S. to find work, but when they arrived, they were met with discrimination. Joe framed this old classified ad from a Sacramento newspaper that spells out discrimination pretty well.
And it says, wanted a first-class cook, German preferred, no Irish need apply.
Railroad companies like the Southern Pacific were some of the only businesses that would hire the Irish. And after the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, many Irish Americans chose to keep their railroad jobs and make a life in Sacramento.
It's alive and well. And I think it takes some of the best of the past and leaves some of the worst of the past behind. And that's really this brand of Irishness that you see today.
And one of the many places where Irish tradition has continued is at the McKeever School of Dance on 24th Street.
1, 2, 3.
Nicole McKeever is a former member of the popular theatrical show Riverdance. And after years of performing, Nicole settled down in Sacramento to keep the tradition of Irish dance alive.
I teach third graders every year for 10 weeks, and everybody loves learning Irish dance.
In the early 17 or 1800s, Irish dance was taught by a traveling dance master who would go from home to home and teach new dances, often on the family's dirt floor. Nicole says those dirt floors influenced the close dance steps in a very odd way.
You can't really make sound, you can't dance on a dirt floor. You take down your door and you put it on the ground and you dance on it. Well, the door is small, you only get a little bit of movement.
In a way, Nicole sees herself as an Irish dance master. She and her colleagues traveled the world inspiring Irish dance.
You know, I like being in Sacramento. I'm stuck at this point, but it is still part of what a lot of my colleagues do, or they do, like, maybe they've got a school in Mexico and Texas and Arizona, you know, and they're traveling around. So it is still part of spreading Irish dance to the world.
St. Patrick's Day will always be one of the biggest ways to highlight the Irish community in Sacramento. But if you ask Joe, green beer and four-leaf clovers are not the best way to support the local heritage.
Be responsible, of course, don't drink too much. And then maybe ask a few questions about a song that you heard. Maybe it's a song about Dublin that's changing from the old ways to the new ways, and ask a question.
Reporting on Sacramento's Irish community, I'm John Bartel.
And our John Bartel joins us here in studio now. John, you know, Riverdance is still a very popular show that's traveling the world. When you went to Nicole's studio, did these students seem excited to be learning from a former performer?
Yeah, totally. You can just see like these Riverdance posters all over the wall, and it's pretty big inspiration for them. And that's because like a lot of these dancers, they're actually competitors, and this is sort of like the, you know, when they go to these dance competitions, that's the first step for becoming kind of a professional dancer.
And you know, you have Irish dancers in Ireland, but we have a lot of people in America doing it. How do they feel about that?
You know, actually, they're totally on board with it. They actually encourage it because this is the way that they spread their culture. They actually have a very rigorous test. If you want to become a professional Irish dancer, you have to take this very hard test, which includes a lot of the history, which is another way they spread their culture.
Oh, that's awesome. And, you know, so tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Any recommendations on where folks can celebrate?
You know what? Joe is actually having this scholarship benefit at the Limelight Bar, and there's going to be a lot of food and some drinks and some dancing there.
That sounds like a lot of fun. John, thank you so much.
Right.
We'll be right back. Tonight, I want to leave you thinking about happiness. What do you do to keep your head up, even when times get hard? The Sacramento State Department of Psychology held its first Happiness Day celebration today to explore what it means to live a happy life. Here's what they had to say.
Happiness is important in our lives. This is within your reach. It's just a process. There are tons of different ways: practicing gratitude, kindness, figuring out your signature strengths, and then practicing humor.
Practicing gratitude and just ways of happiness has really improved my life.
Happiness is a necessity. It is a human right, so we should focus on ways to promote everyone's happiness.
The rates of stress and psychological disorders among college students increase substantially, significantly. And then this is a time to remind, at least on our campus, that it is important to be happy. Happy people live 10 years longer than unhappy people. Happy people are more successful at work and at school.
It's possible to make yourself happier if you want to.
And you know what makes me happy? My family, my neighbors. Hi, Lucy. I know you're watching tonight. And all of you who are watching this evening and joining us every night here on ABC 10. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.